What the hash? In this video, we're going to go over what a hash function is and how it's used in Bitcoin or blockchains in general. A hash function is probably the most important mathematical operation that is used in Bitcoin. It's needed for what's called proof of work, and proof of work is the vital component in what is called consensus. We're not going to get into consensus in this video, but we'll cover hashing and how it leads to proof of work. You can think of a hash function as a mathematical operation. It's just some mathematical transformation that takes some input. The input can be whatever you want, as large as you want, and it just transforms it into a number. A small number down here, it would be a 64 character long number. In fact, some of these characters over here, even though they're letters, are actually numerical digits in hexadecimal. So I can take an input, it can be all of Wikipedia. I can put it through this mathematical funnel and it will spit out a number. If I were to change the input ever so slightly, if I were to take one of the lowercase i's and turn it into an uppercase I, the output would change completely. The reason why I mentioned that is to illustrate that there is no way that I can predict what the output will be from a given input. That is, there's no way that I can say, well, I want an output of a certain type. I can just modify my input ever so slightly to get the output that I want. To really illustrate this clearly is we're going to actually open a SHA-256 calculator. SHA-256 is the hashing algorithm that Bitcoin uses. There are others. But we'll go to a SHA-256 calculator, and you can find a link to this calculator in the notes with this video. So let's open this up. And you can just type in whatever you want into here. I'll type in blockmatics. And notice as I type, the resulting hash changes, which is down here. It changes completely. It just has no resemblance to what happened before. I'm going to put in something else over here. I'm going to put in a list of transactions. Transactions as Harry sending Sally 12 Bitcoins, Alice sending Bob some Bitcoins. At the end of this list, I'm also going to add just some random number. This is really just a dummy number. It's a nonsense number. In fact, in the Bitcoin network, this is known as a nonce. And I'm going to change this number with the objective to get a hash output, a hash down here that starts with a 0. So I'm just going to keep changing the number until I get something that starts with a 0. And you can do this at home and see how long, there we go. You can see how long that takes you for yourself. But using this nonce, I'm able to get an output that starts with a 0. And this is exactly what the Bitcoin miners are doing. They are trying to take their transactions that they've heard. They're trying to find the right nonce so that with those transactions, they get a hash that starts with zeros. Of course, in the Bitcoin case, it's not 1 0, it's something like 17 zeros. And you can imagine that takes a very long time. You will never be able to do that on your own. They use specialized hardware to do this. And in fact, the Bitcoin network as a whole is performing this hash function 3 billion times per second. They use special hardware known as ASICs. The reason why they're doing this is the Bitcoin network is calibrated so that only one miner within the span of 10 minutes will be able to find a hash that has 17 zeros. And that gives them the ability to announce their transactions that they've heard to the rest of the Bitcoin network. They actually package them into a block with the nonce, and they send that out across the network. All the other miners, they verify for themselves that the transactions are valid, but also that it has the appropriate hash. And then they add that block to their chain of blocks, to their blockchain, and that's how the blockchain grows in the network. So that is what is known as proof of work, that proving that they're doing some work to create a block. and that leads to consensus, which we're not going to get into in this video. But to learn more about Bitcoin and blockchains, visit blockmatics.tech, and thanks for watching.
Oh, you're still here. Okay, well, I'll tell you about Rise. My name is Kelly, and Rise is Barclays' open innovation platform focused mainly on fintech. We have 7 locations globally, and we're currently sitting in our lovely New York office. We have events here pretty much every night, and most of them are focused on fintech issues. We have discussions, meetups, all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in hanging out with us, go to thinkrise.com. Okay, now get out.